everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Glory Wolf and welcome back to the channel. This is the first video I'm doing with makeup since the first video I put out. Today we are going to be doing a 4th of July themed makeup look. So I already have all my supplies set out and I just put some lotion on my face. And I'm going to go ahead and start by priming my eyes, because I always start with my eyes first, and then I put my foundation on after I finished my eyes. So the primer I use is by NYX. It's Studio Perfect Photo Loving Primer. Alright, my eyes are primed, and since they are primed, I'm gonna go ahead and, I like to go in with my foundation and just get a base down, and then I start with going in with the eyeshadows. So, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, and since my foundation is liquid, I will then go in with sometimes I'll go in with a nude eyeshadow or a loose powder, or sometimes even a powdered foundation, just to kind of set the foundation in place. Alright, so now that that is set in place, so for today's look, I think we're going to go ahead and do a red, white, and blue eyeshadow. So I have this eyeshadow palette right here. It's by Crown, and this is their warm tone reds palette. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to use this red right here for the red, and that is going to go in the outer corner. So we're just going to tap in there a little bit, tap off a little bit of the excess, just so that it's not so bright, because you can always add more, you can't take off. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the outer corner right here. And I'm going to kind of angle it a little bit as I tap it on the outer portion right here. You're just going to take it out and angle it a little bit. You can slide it or you can tap it. But now that we have that general shape, we're going to drag some of the powder across our eye and come onto the lid a little bit. And then once we have our full eyeshadow look, you can go in with a concealer or your foundation, whatever you like to use, and just kind of clean this line up a little bit so it's not so you have a defined line, or you could leave it like this and just smudge it out a little bit and it can be a little smoky. Alright, now that I have my red down, I don't like it very a bright red, so I'm gonna go in with a lighter purple and make it a little deeper so it's not so bright and in your face. So the purple I'm using is from LA Colors. I got it at the Dollar Tree because makeup is so expensive and it works for me. So I'm going to go in with this light purple right here. And I'm just going to tap it a little bit onto the red on the very outer corner right here. And kind of overlapping it a little bit so that way there's something that the blue, because we're going to put blue on the center right here. So that way it kind of blends a little more and it's not just like red, blue. So there's a little bit of a fade into there so that way it blends nicely. Alright, now the blue I'm going to use is in another LA Colors palette. It's their smoky eyeshadow palette. And we're going to go in with this blue in the top corner right here because it is very bright and vibrant. And I like it. It's very pretty. So we're going to go in, overlap a little bit with the blue and the red so it blends nicely. And so you don't have any harsh lines on your eyeshadow. Okay. So I also have a second blue that's gonna add a little bit of sparkle to this blue so it's not so matte. And that's in my mermaid palette that I got at Five Below. And it's gonna be this top blue right here. I don't want a lot of it, just a little bit. So tap off as much excess as you can. And we're just gonna tap it on there to lighten that blue a little bit. Alright, now that we have the blue on there, I'm gonna mix two different whites to make sure that it's bright enough that you can see it next to the blue, because I tried a couple different versions when I was playing around with this a few days ago, and I found that if I mix the two whites from the first palette I showed you that has the purple in it, and then the blue smoky palette, if you mix those two, it makes a pretty decent white. It's not too light that you can't see it, but it's not too bright that it's like blinding you. So we're gonna go in with this lighter, almost like a bone color, and that is gonna go in the inner corner. Just gonna tap it on and kind of blend it a little bit with the blue so it's not so like a straight line down the middle between the two. And the smoky one is in the top left-hand corner of the palette. Okay, now that I put all those colors on, I used a blurring brush for that because I like it because it kind of packs it on there because it's a more stiff brush. And then once I have all my colors on there, I like to go in with a more fluffy brush like this one. And I just kind of blend it a little bit just so it's a little more seamless and not so, you know. And you always, when you're blending, you always want to go from the dark color to the light color when you're blending. And you see it kind of just blends nicely. And if you feel like the white has become too muddy, you can go back in with like, or even the blue. If the blue becomes too muddy, you can go back in and put a little more blue on there just to make it more defined. So I'm gonna do that because I think the blue's a little too muddy. Okay. Now that I've done the eyeshadow, I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up with my foundation. So I'm gonna go back in with my foundation, and I like to put it on a sponge beauty blender for this part, but I like to make sure the beauty blender is a little damp so that way it blends and it looks more natural. So once you got your beauty blender, I just like to put it on the edge. And then once I put a little bit of product on the edge, I tap it out a little bit. And then I go ahead and I go in and kind of clean up my corner, my outer corner with my foundation. Alright, now that the line is cleaned up, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of color underneath my eye. So to do that, I'm going to go back in with the red, and I'm going to deepen up that red quite a bit more than I did here, just so it gives it a more deeper tone to it. So I'll go back in with the red. This palette's a pain to open. Go back in with the red, tap it off a little bit, just so that there's not a whole lot on there, but there's enough that it'll put down color. And I'm just gonna tap and kind of smudge it out a little bit underneath. Then I'm gonna go in with that purple and deepen it up quite a bit more than I did with the top. Now that I've done that, I'm going to clean that line up as well because I don't like it to come like down as far as it does. So I'm just gonna connect this line down a little bit and around just so it gives it like a subtle, and it doesn't look like it's smoked out here and then all of a sudden a straight line. So we're gonna go ahead and clean that up. And see, now it's a little more cleaned up and it looks like I should have done that. Okay, now that I've done that part, I'm gonna go ahead and do a winged liner to go with it. Okay. I've done my winged liner now. So now that I've done this eye, I'm gonna go ahead and go do this eye off camera. So, that is the look for this eye so far. I might blend it out a little more off camera, but that is the general look for the eye. I'm gonna go do that on this eye real quick, and I'll see you in a minute. And now I am going to show you the next little surprise for this look. So I have two pencils. One of them is by Elf, and the other one is by Fright Night, which I believe I got at a Halloween store. This one is it's a white pencil, and then this one, I don't remember what the name of this one is, but it's like a berry color. It's a berry color, and it's really pretty. So I'm gonna start on this cheek right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a dot of white, so you can see that there. I hope you can see it. And now that I have that dot there, I'm gonna take little arches out in the white first. They're just branching out from the center dot. And now that I've done the white, I'm going to go in with the berry color, which is going to act as our red. So then I'm going to go in and draw a line with the berry color. Okay, now that I have the lines in the berry color and the white lines, I'm going to take a smudge brush, and then I'm going to take that blue color. It doesn't have to be that same dark blue color. It can be a lighter blue color, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's a blue shade. I'm gonna go in with this lighter blue because I think it's prettier for this, our firework. And you can start in the center, just make that blue, put it over the white that you've already done, and it makes it brighter. So then once you've done that, you can pick out which of the white lines you want to be blue. And I'm gonna start here and tap it on. Like that. And you have your stars. When I was playing around with this was a smaller one, and then I had like a whole little, it was like my nose and cheeks were freckled with stars. So that is that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do, since I have quite a bit of red, I think I'm gonna just do like a nude lip maybe, or like a pink lip. I think I'm gonna go for this. This one is called Flower, and it is a pretty like rosy peach color. I think that's what I'm gonna do. If I don't like it, I mean, I can always change it. It kind of fits, I guess. You could honestly, if you really wanted to, use those pencils again, and you could probably create like a red, white, and blue lip. I think that'd be kind of cool. You could probably try that. Play around with it and see what colors you could do with it. But I think I'm gonna leave it like that. And so, you could probably put a little blush if you wanted to, but I'm gonna leave it like this. You could also add, you could definitely add, like a little bit of highlight maybe. You could probably even put some glitter. You could probably put some glitter in the stars. You could really do whatever with your fireworks and stars. You could add glitter. You could kind of do like an ombre in one of them maybe. Like you could change up the fireworks. You can make shapes out of them. Like creativity is there and you just can do whatever you want with it. So that's today's look. It looks like this. And thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, definitely leave a like, and if you have any questions or even, feedback for me, leave it in the comments, or if the comments are turned off, just put a comment on one of my posts on one of my social media platforms. I'll link those in the description. And I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Bye! Back. And I finished the eyeliner. This eye's slightly different because I'm used to doing both eyes at the same time, but I think it'll get better, as I get more experience doing it that way. So now that I have done the eyes, I'm also gonna